Okay, we are live. Let's start with welcoming everyone. Welcome Wes, Arnold, Dylan, Jupano, good to see you. Parabute, Matt, and Lisa. I'm doing both. I enjoyed the sun a little, but I've been also scalping. Wild price action. Okay. Let's first start with zooming out and see where Bitcoin is. So yesterday or early this day, I started this new range with that high and low because we knew that this was either the first deviation or the sketchy lower high, because on some exchanges we took the high and on some we didn't. So this was a sketchy level already, which was also why I was mainly looking for longs to look for that push higher. And right now price is pushing into that upper supply. But I think eventually we will take out that bad high. And that is where high time frame shorts finally start making sense to me. But in order for that, I want to see, like, maybe we come down and then from here start a good sweep. And if we then break structure, then I'm super interested in swing shorts back down. But for now, we stayed true to the market structure. And once again, it shows that that is the best way to approach it, because price is still just putting in higher lows and higher highs. Right here, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, potential higher low for another higher high. And then we come into the ADK levels, and that is where shorts finally start to make sense. So amazing to see that structure overrules again everything. And then locally, we had this aggressive move during FOMC, where we talked about this super aggressive move into the lows, where a lot of aggressive selling was, and this was eventually the weekly low. So once again, see that with order flow, we could see that it was super aggressive selling into this low, but price failed to break lower. And from there, we started basically the local uptrend again with high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And then here we started breaking out. And yeah, I think from everyone, what I've seen, everyone was positioned short. So it's good to see that we once again did better than most, probably. And today we had a super clean local accumulation, which was the long that I took. Where there was just sitting a spider on me. I was already feeling like, what the fuck is in my neck? But let me first kill that. Okay, we are safe. And the reason why I took it, because once again, it was not in a super high probability area, because we had some demand levels here. So we consolidated here for a while, and then we started pushing up, and then this aggressive push. So for high probability longs, you want to see a backtest here, then preferably structure, and then this is like a super high probability long. However, just as the long earlier this week on Ethereum, we did not get the high probability reversal zone, because sometimes if you are pushing higher, then the market maker is already positioned in a long, so he doesn't need to get back for every single level. So I marked out this range locally, and this is where sometimes the VWAP can be super helpful, because, oh, where is the range? Because if you are trending, and we know that early Asia often puts in the high of the low of the day. And today we started here, Friday started, and then basically we put in the low, and from there we have been grinding higher. And that can often be the signal that you get a trending day, because then you have your low early Asia, and that has a pretty high probability to then get a bullish day ahead. So this is where the VWAP then can be pretty handy. And then especially if you combine that with your range. So high, low, just the usual range as always. range high, range low. And then we tap the mid-range right here. So then it's a valid range. And then this is the sweep, tap 2. Again, the same model as always. And this is where often for model 2 or for model 2, you need to tap into extreme demand or sweep extreme liquidity. In this case, it was low, lower high, lower low, lower high, higher low. And then this is your extreme liquidity. So I was watching that level, but at that moment I was on the order flow. So let's show you right here. The order flow right here. And here you can see, this is Binance, and Binance is the highest volume exchange. But here you can see that this week, I feel like there are spiders on me everywhere, but here we took out that wick and then pushed higher. So I was watching that locally, and then I was, hey, that's like model 2. But here on Bybit, we can see that we did not take it. So here you did not sweep extreme liquidity. So here it was harder to identify it. But on Binance, we took the low, then pushed higher, broke structure back to bullish, in which this is step 1, this is step 2, and then this is the valid step 3. You break structure from your low up. So high, higher low, higher high. And this break confirms this as our step 3. So that is where I took the long. And this is the exact replica of the long earlier this week on Ethereum, where we also had a range high, range low, and then all the volume was in the lower part of the range, no volume in the upper part, which means that if you get your break of structure, it can be a very quick, smoothed way to your technical target, which was the case here once again. So here price pushed into that high, super clean, 1, 2, 3, model 2 accumulation, and it's nice to have that in the London session, because we know London session can often be pretty shit. And from there, we came back down. And this is where a lot of people got trapped, because price followed the plan which we made yesterday already, where this could potentially be a 1, a 2, a 3, model 1 distribution to go lower. And it made sense because we had a clean supply POI right here. But price already pushed higher early this day. And what is always important is that a potential distribution has to be taken very carefully if you are in an uptrend. And here, the second tap, this was an aggressive move into your tap 2. So then, if you show this kind of strength in your tap 2, you already have to be more cautious that it can also just be high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Just a simple uptrend. And that is where a lot of people get wrong, because they think, oh, we take the high, tap 2, tap 3, and then they only look at shorts. But if you are in local uptrend, you should prefer longs above shorts. And that is what we saw here. We were in an uptrend, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And what did work out? The accumulation, because that's in line with your current trend. So here, local model 2 took out the high, and this distribution did not work because it was counted context. And beside that, price never broke or confirmed the distribution. So if we watch tap 1, tap 2, now you can watch when do you confirm this as a distribution. Well, your swing structure at this moment is high, higher low, higher high. So in this leg, there is no structure to confirm the distribution for model 2. So then you can watch how do we move into your third tap. Then this is tap 3. Then you can think, okay, this can be a model 1 distribution, but it is counter context because trend is up locally. But it can always give you that reversal. But then you need to break structure from the low up. So if we watch from the low, here into your third tab, what is the structure? Low, high, higher low, higher high. So this is your market structure level. And that is on the 2 minute, and you can go to 1 minute, and the 1 minute is the same. So you cannot short this model 1 until you break below your market structure. Do that and you can look for your short. But price never took the low, and that's also why I said like the invalidation for the model 1 is super clean. So if we, for example, had here high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and broke this back to bearish, then I might have tried a short here, playing the model 1 into model 2. But price never broke any structure. And then this is where a lot of people start shorting it. And that's also what I warned in the group. This can be just a, if we have price action that chops up like this, then more often than not, it can end up in a big squeeze higher. And that is also what we got. And this is a short squeeze. So everyone that was shorting here, they got squeezed out in this move. So super clean price action, especially for the first day of May. Oh yeah, what I wanted to say, we have the model 2 here, but it was directly in line with your VWAP. So you have VWAP here, wick under it, got bought back up, then you wicked under it again, bought back up. So you then clearly see that you are taking the lows, but also holding the overall VWAP. So that's the overall trend. And then you go up, and then here we came again pretty close to it, and then pushed higher. So in trending days, just the normal VWAP can be a pretty good indicator to use to just follow the daily trend. If you have a super choppy day, then I often just take out the VWAP. Then it doesn't make sense to look at it, because then you will see that it flip-flops around it. So what is next? For me locally, I'm not super interested in trading this. A lot of people will probably look for the model 2. So this is 1, this is 2, and then this potentially the 3. It can play out, but I think it's way more likely that we will take out that bad high. So until we take that out, I'm not super interested in shorts. Take out the high, and then I'm going to be super interested in shorts. Also because we have a lot of liquidity created right now. So I have an alert at the high. And yeah, if we first come down, then I'm still even more interested in longs until we take out the high. We left behind super clean demand right here. So if we get a structured move into this demand, then I'm still going to look for longs till we take out that high. So basically that's the plan. If we just zoom out and watch it from a perspective how we always look at it, which is always a range, then this is our range. Range high, range low. Here we look for shorts, and preferably we come back into discount and there look for longs. So if we look at what is the deviation threshold, and this is the mid-range. So anything under the mid-range is discount. So there you can look for longs, preferably in extreme discount or after sweeping the low. And short is in the upper part, with our current deviation threshold resting here at 80.5. So yeah, pretty clean outlook how to play Bitcoin going forward. Let's see what the highest supply right here is. It's probably from here, where you have low, lower high, and then that aggressive break. So this is the most important supply. Let's see if we already tapped it. Yeah, okay, so we perfectly tapped that, and I'm now seeing that rejection from it. But I don't, yeah, it can typically be Bitcoin to now sell off aggressively. And then from here start maybe a new range. And that's the one I'm willing to play. So that's it for Bitcoin. You can also watch what is now the range. Yeah, so price took liquidity above the value area high. Now we can watch, do we hold POC and what we do here. But locally, I'm not gonna trade BTC anymore. Let's see, a lot of people have joined. Matt as well, Lise, Astrol, welcome, Sido as well, and Rise Baby as well. So with like a lot of trades, and I was also looking at gold. Oh. Let's first go over gold, where we had this move below the range, and then I said, because we moved so far below the range, for me it's most likely that we get a lower high for a low low until proven otherwise. So yesterday I mentioned when we were here that we front ran my main POI, which is this supply zone and the higher up, but we front ran it yesterday. So there I said my POIs for trades is above if we take the high again, or if we come back in this 4-hour demand, which was a super clean 4-hour demand, as you can see here. So sell to buy, super clean. And using the FIB confluence, so drawing the FIB from this last swing low to that high, this is our FIB retracement. And price literally bounced perfectly from it. I did not have my eyes on it, but we can watch, was there a local entry confirmation? You could say this is low, this is your high, so this is your range. It was like a very local model 2, it seems, with low, high, low, high, and this was but it was a hard one to trade. So I would rather look at it from a structure perspective. We have low, lower high, lower low, and here sketchy break, higher low, and then here we started the uptrend. And here very locally, what I was seeing, like at this moment, this is your cleanest demand, where you basically break above your range. This is your break. And then here you have a very local model 1. So low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, break. So if you were behind the screen, this could have been a valid scalp. However, the push was pretty aggressive. But if you entered here, stop loss below your third tab, in which you have 1, 2, 3. Entry after the break, which is here. So let's say entries there. Then this could have been a crazy trade. I don't know, did anyone catch the gold? 15-minute Rimsey. Yeah, it was basically, this is your demand range. So it could have got in here, or this re-entry, and then pushed it higher. Super clean. Yes, I did. Basically the setup I posted in the group the day before. Clean. So yeah, that was a good potential trade. However, my main bias is still to watch for a lower high. So we just came into this supply where we reject from. Let's watch. So now we took the high, took liquidity, rejecting, but like here again, this move is super bullish. So now yeah, you don't have any structure in your leg. And then if you have to find structure, then it's often not what you want. So this is not even 1 minute structure. So yeah, you could say you break local structure here. But yeah, this just shows a lot of strength. So then I don't see it as valid. So I'm gonna wait for the higher part to look for shorts. And if we come back, this is another long zone. Just playing the local trend. Higher high, higher low, SFP. So this is pretty dangerous. You don't want an SFP of your high, because that means you can come back to your low. And that makes it interesting from a range perspective. So what I see now, considering these facts, we are downtrending overall. So this can also be the new range. Range low, range high, mid-range, tap 2. I like this a lot. Depending on how we progress from here. But let's say price now comes back, starts ranging here, and then we come back for the third tap into this key supply. Then I'm super interested in shorts. Back down. And the invalidation for that is also super clean. So what you can do, you can look for local longs right here. So if you get good structure right here, you can play your local longs like this and then let them ride and see if we get a good third tap and then short it. Because locally we can expect high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And then here, this is like super high probability area to look for shorts. Because either we reject from this supply, or if we push above it, so let's say we do this, tap 3, and fail to break below it, and get above this local high, then this squeezes probably directly into this liquidity trail, right there. And then, yeah, there's a lot of upside afterwards. It's a bit of a weird chart, to be honest. But if I zoom out, this is also the value area low. For me, highest probability is still to watch for if this develops as a good range, and then we get the move here, then this is the former range low, it's the current value area low, and that could be the low, lower high, lower low, towards all this remaining sell side liquidity. Break above here, and then I think the highs are next. So that's still the main idea I have for gold. So quite a lot of ways to trade it coming week. Let's see, this is the range. Alert here for potential longs, and if we sweep the high, look for shorts again. Interesting. Let's see, silver was cleaner. Didn't watch. Oh yeah. So we broke this downtrend on silver. I don't like trend lines, but here it was so obvious. And more importantly, we broke 4-hour structure back to bullish. So we have from the high up low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. And then here we broke it. So that was the change from a bear trend into a bull trend. And then we had super clean demand right here. So I had an alert, it's still here. And we did not take it, unfortunately. But that does not mean that there is no new trade ahead. Because with this sell to buy, we have new created demand. And we broke 4-hour back to bullish. We have this unfinished candle on, yeah, Kijos knows it. I think it's an unfinished candle on the daily, on the weekly, on the 18-hour, on basically everything. So it's super likely that price will take out this this level around 81. So from now on, I'm just gonna watch for the bearish structure, which now flipped to bullish. So now we can expect higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Just from a simple downtrend back into an uptrend. So definitely gonna keep an eye on silver going forward. And it could also mean like silver looks very bullish to me. Gold a little bit less, but that means that it could also be that gold is just gonna reverse, invalidate the bearish idea, and just also pushes above this supply, and then very quick move back to the high. But still gonna watch. If I get confirmations there, I will short it. Let's then discuss the trades from yesterday, which were hype, which was super clean hype right here. So we talked about this liquidity point, a big sell side liquidity level, and then this 1, 2, 3, which like we talked about yesterday, and we pre-planned everything. And I should have, in hindsight, just taken it, but I went to training right here, and this was like massive chop. So I was like, nah, is it too clean? Not really. But since we had a 1, a 2, a 3, and we broke structure back to bullish right here. So we have low, lower high, lower low, break. So at this moment, we had a break, bullish break of structure within the range. So you want your break to be back in your range low. So this is our current range low, the tap 2. Then you have your break inside your range. And was it in the value area low as well? Yeah, it was also in the value area low. Or let's see. Yeah. So at that point, as I said as well, this is our protected low. Typically just our Wyckoff low. So already said you can just long it here for peace of mind. Put your stop loss below your third tap. Target your range high. And then that is a valid trade. So myself, I didn't take it, but I'm glad some others did. Because this just, again, the models, they are fucking everywhere. And this one played out super cleanly again. The moment we started pushing above, direct move into the range high, 3.5R, model 1 accumulation again. So super clean. What was there locally something here? Yeah, so if you zoom in super deeply on it, then this chop will make you crazy, because this is on the low time frame, like strong sell-off, strong bounce, and then just sell, buy, sell, very choppy. But that's why it's so important to sometimes zoom out, because in the end, this was just, can be seen as the model 1. This was the liquidity grab. And then from here, you break your structure back to bullish. So if you wanted to wait for like the cleanest of the cleanest, then you could also have longed it on this bullish break, stop loss below this low, which is now your basically your fourth tap, and then from there ride it to the range high, which would still be a 3R. But yeah, super clean that the model, they're fucking everywhere and they continue to play out. So now we can watch what does price do right here, because we now tapped into this supply. We have a little supply higher, so I think it will go higher. Then, depending on how it forms, it can always flow over into a distribution. So if we sell off here again and then come back, then we can watch, does it turn into a model 2 or a model 1 distribution? But again, context is super important, and here locally this is a super strong move. So it can also just turn into a higher low and then break above. So your confirmations are always super key. And context-wise, I would love to see price move higher here and then come into these supply levels. If we there get weakness, then I will short it heavily, because that is the main plan overall. Was this one. This was a super clean distribution, deviation of the range high with a model 1 into model 2 distribution. And then this can already be the tab 2, but we can also come back to still get the tab 2, either in this supply or by taking out the high again, and then form our third tab for lower. But locally it looks pretty strong, and we just had an accumulation, so then you always have to be careful that to not directly start fixating a distribution, because right now this looks pretty strong. And this supply, here you have that nice gap, so price likely wants to travel higher. So also here you can watch what is your local structure. Then you have low, high, higher, low, higher, high. Then this is all demand. So you can watch how does price behave here. Do we continue to push higher, or do we slowly come back to demand, get a flip? Then this is another potential long setup. And then here you can watch how do we move. Do we stay within the range or not? And then just play the same model as we always do. So also extremely clean. And then the same one on Tau. Or this one. I'm sad that I missed this one. We took out the range high right now. But here we had the range high, range low. And then this has been crazy chop. So very long chop. I was not really interested in trading this. And then we had this aggressive move higher. And then we came back. But we came back for the value area. So this is your value with value area high, point of control, value area low. And if you have a strong break above your value area and you come back for it, then you should expect it to hold. If it doesn't hold, then you have a failed breakout. But as long as it holds around your point of control and your value area high, then it can turn into just a higher low. And here as well, if we look at structure, and your most important structure from the low up is like here, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. These are not two candles going down, but on the 3 hour it probably is. Higher low, higher high. So this whole move, it can be a deep move, but it can still, structure-wise, be a higher low for a higher high. So this morning, I was like, okay, is this interesting? It was not super interesting, but we are at retesting the value area high. So that was where I was, okay, let me zoom in and see what we locally have. And then I saw, as always, downtrend, low, high. So pull your range from low to high. Then we had tab 1, tab 1. Here we took out the low, came back up. And here it was like more local. Let's see where we have tab 2. Then after your tab 2, you can always watch what is my extreme liquidity and my extreme demand. So here I already see on the 5 we have sell to buy, making this a clean demand zone. Because your demand should be created with an imbalance. So this was basically your 5-minute demand. Your extreme demand. Because below this demand you don't have anything. And that is where price perfectly came into. So the moment I saw this, price was already, yeah, so this happened overnight. So I only saw it when we were around here. But overnight, we tapped into demand. This is then your potential model 2 accumulation. if price made a low here, then it would have been like too clean. Then you had structure, low, lower high, lower low, and then a break. And then this was your entry. And then you could have targeted your range high. And then you have like 6R to your range high, which would now be to the main range 12R. But price did not do that. So this was the low. So that means that in this leg there was not really structure until this high. So here it confirmed basically on this break. At that moment, after this break, basically, or here, when you show strength, this is where your model 2 accumulation, 1, 2, 3, is confirmed. And where you can technically long. So you could, if you are behind your screen, you can long it here. Stop there. Main range high is your main target. But since you are in a 4-hour bullish structure, your main range high is untaken. You can target that main range high. So that was what I was looking for. Was mainly to get a retest of this demand. As you can see it like this, range, break, mitigate, continue. However, we never got the retrace, unfortunately. And this was overnight, so did not see this price action. But yeah, it once again shows that the same models, they happen over and over and over again. And this local accumulation caused this heavy expansion, like 9%. And ooh, oh, that long, I would have held it. Because now it gets really interesting. This was that crazy sell-off, but this is basically all free air. So there's nothing here. So if price breaks out of this local range, then I wouldn't be surprised to see it break above, maybe retest, and then fill that whole gap. So we can pre-plan, watch what is our deviation threshold. So our deviation threshold is this red line right here. So we know that if we get like higher time frame closes, let's say for our minimum, that break above that level, that turns this whole range into a potential RIMC range, in which this was our accumulation range. And if we get a break above the deviation threshold, we can look for the RIMC and then continue. So a bit sad that I missed this super clean entry, but we can watch still for longs from here, which has a lot of potential, because the moment price starts breaking above this little wick, it can literally catapult right into this supply. So still interesting. And more locally, let's delete the whole range. We now have swing structure, high, higher low, higher high. So if before the break we get a retrace, we can also look for a higher low for a higher high. Then the question is, do we have clean demand? Yeah, so basically this whole zone is demand right now. With the lower demand, the higher probability ones. The lowest one, the highest probability one. And then basically this whole zone is for longing until proven otherwise. And right now I don't see this as a distribution potentially, because look at this move. This is pure strength. This is not manipulated to, this is pure strength. So main idea here, look for a higher low. Hopefully get that higher low for a higher high. If we already break higher, then just any retrace of retest into the range high, which is this level, can be a long for much higher. So Tao is also back on the menu and being a very interesting chart. I know it's far away, but you never know. We have daily 1 hour, 4 hour unfinished candle on Tao from this morning. That would be sick. 4 hour unfinished. Ah. Well, do you know what that means? That means that it's probably also a monthly unfinished, because it's the 1st of May. Yeah. So the month, okay, that is something different. So the monthly low, there is no monthly low. This month has no wick. So that gives it a big reason to come back for that candle. So that is this low. Yeah, if they want to really fuck everyone, it could come all the way back down to that lowest level, clear that candle, maybe SFP the 4 hour market structure low, then get back up and then squeeze higher. So that brings some extra sauce to the game. Interesting. Which would now be also just a retest again of the point of control and value area low, value area high. Okay, interesting. And locally, this can also be a local higher low, just the local trend. High, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So if you are around, you can watch what price does here. You are at range high, so that's not the level you want to long normally. But yeah, local trend is bullish into proven otherwise. So if you get a move back into here, and you get that structure confirmation, like this, they can also see this as a RIMC, where this was then your range. This is your break, retest, higher low, higher high. Interesting. Markets are pretty bullish. However, we have to keep in mind that it's also the 1st of May. So often they like to fuck around a bit in the start of the month. Which can also be for BTC. Like if we in the next few days and maybe early next week take out that high, then I'm gonna be super interested in shorts. Also because we are now creating a crazy liquidity trail. So if we start breaking structure back to bearish, like you have some demand right here, basically at your point of control of the whole range, but below that, you likely just sweep directly this whole liquidity. And then if that happens, they played their cards so well. It's literally to fuck every bear, stop them out on every short attempt, and then take out that high and then reject. Other big zone is also this, what is it, 12-hour supply? Yeah, 12-hour supply. So we can also come up there. But yeah, I think we did a good job by not shorting every move, but just following structure. And the only shorts that I took were local distribution models, and the longs were accumulations. So that's why I don't care where price it goes. Just give me my local model, and I long it or I short it. Doesn't matter what it is. Kijos is for real the unfinished candle master. And indeed, I feel like Kijos is a big Tao fan. It's also the only reason why I added it to my watch list. But it has clean chart, so great. Okay, so we discussed gold. Super interesting for the coming week. Silver, super interesting for the coming week. And basically all the crypto charts are also super interesting. So May promises to be an interesting month. They often say, at least the known saying is always sell in May and walk away. But yeah, we have to see if it's true. Let's watch at the order flow. What happened? So let's clean it up a bit. So we started the day right here. Yesterday we consolidated a while around the weekly VWAP, and now we pushed above it. And basically, this is the long that I took, the model 2 accumulation on the VWAP. And right now, VWAP is just bullish, and the metrics are also bullish. So we have open interest going up, price going up. That shows that the market is supporting the uptrend. So this is just bullish. We have perp CVD going up, and also heavy spot buying. So this looks just fucking healthy. The moment it starts not looking healthy is if we get like a lot of top longs entering, and then spot starting to sell off, or just everyone top longing it. Then you know that you have to be careful. But right now, I think most people are shorting it, and then it just squeezes higher and higher. And that is also where your daily VWAP, which is at thinner white line, can be a great tool to watch. Lose your daily VWAP, and that's a significant sign that the trend is over. But right now, super bullish. Every trend is up, so underproof and otherwise, this can just squeeze higher and take out that main high. Mm, mm, mm. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so this is the liquidity heat map. Then I'm pretty sure we gotta take those highs. Look at all that liquidity above it, around 80, 81k. Take that, distribute, and then I think we can finally start looking for those swing shorts back down to the lower liquidity. If that plays out, oh, we did it super great. Like this is also a better range to give a high time frame reversal instead of this. Like it was already sketchy that this is your distribution so low that causes the heavy sell-off. Let's look at the just a clean chart. Sometimes it helps to what do I have for drawings? Ah, look, these are some old drawings. But here, bullish structure is still alive. And we have those gaps above us. And the 12-hour bearish structure. So this whole zone from here into that 12-hour supply, this is like the biggest reversal level where I'm interested in shorts. This is now also probably the point where nobody dares to short it anymore. Let's look at a naked chart. But yeah, until proven otherwise, trend is up. So you can always just look for longs until it stops working. Because I've been here in, maybe I can show you that, 2022 as well. And that was right here. Then we bottomed, and this was also where everyone was like, we have super clean demand left behind. We need to come back for it. So we draw it. And here I was one of those trapped bears who wanted lower, never got it, and then you are fucked. So here we had like basically FTX crash. That was the low. This was, oh, it's over, blah, blah, blah. Then we broke structure back to bullish. And this is where everyone was looking for shorts. So shorts here, here, this distribution, blah, 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 blah. We need to come back for this demand. We need to come back for this demand. We have gaps, blah, blah, blah. But the selling here was so heavy and everyone was so bearish that it just kept going up. And then here it pushed higher. And this is where price just never came back. And that was the rally in that move. Right now, sentiment-wise, it reminds me quite a lot of that, where everyone is waiting for that lower. And where it maybe just can squeeze higher as well. So don't only look for shorts, it can also just push higher. However, if we ever would have gonna reverse, this is the level where it's gonna likely happen if we are intended to reverse. So that's basically it. Then I think this week was again a very good week and promising month ahead. So if there are no questions anymore, that FTX low must have been a crazy, yeah, it was weird. We had the Luna crash, then the FTX crash. It was like everything would have died, but it came back. And sentiment-wise, it's a bit similar. Everyone is now like, oh, stocks go to the moon and crypto is dead. Altcoins are dead. Everything is dead. But now it's so sentiment is so bad. That's often when you reverse. And especially if everyone is only looking for shorts, that's sentiment-wise the best what you can have. Although it's not the time to become bullish, obviously. So are there any questions? Maybe about one thing I'm realizing is that BTC, it had massive warning signs on the daily low. So, but that is the same case as with Tao. So we have the daily low. It has no, what is it? Yeah, there's a very small wick and it was put in super early. But it is the first day of the month. So that probably also means that our monthly low is also, it has a small wick, but it has probably warning signs. Let's check. If that is the case, that could make okay, BTC. Let's check it for the last 5 years and then on a monthly. Okay, so we are now on timing on the monthly. High P1 flip risk, 85.7% of the mons took out the monthly low. And warning, 96% of the P1s monthly low form after May 1st, 0000. So the monthly low is currently at literally the first minute of the month, which is very unusual. And based on distance, 100% of the P1s monthly low have a bigger wick. So we have there has never been a monthly low with a wick as tiny as this one. So that makes the case to later in the month come back for that level, which is this one, bigger. Which adds up to the main idea, what I would love to see is to start the distribution right there, then flip down, take out this low, then we also break structure and then get that reversal. So yeah, pretty clean addition to the potential bearish scenario. Also ETH. Yeah, I think a lot of coins have it. Because Tao has it, BTC has it, ETH. Yeah, also ETH. 100% of the P1s have a bigger wick. And timing, 94% form after 0000. So that is what they often like to do early in the month to manipulate it. Then push price higher or lower depending on what the intention is of what they want. But right now they fired probably buying algos directly at the monthly open, which is why we have no wicks and the low is so early. So it's highly likely that later in the month we will come back. And that highly correlates with the potential bearish scenario. So great. I have to go because I quickly need to eat and then I need to go to the football tournament to drink beer and play a little football. But it's hot as fuck in the Netherlands, so I have to move. And then I want to thank everyone for yet another great week. A lot of streams, a lot of great trades again. Crazy amount of good setups. And yeah, next week we do the same over again. And then I see you guys there. Happy weekend, everyone. And yeah, of course, I will always be available in the Discord as well. So just share your stuff there and I will always try to react. But very active again Monday. In the weekend, always a bit less. But always keeping my eyes on the charts. So have a happy weekend, everyone. And next week we grind again. Cheers.